Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for this webinar. I'm Kathy Jang, Senior Marketing Manager at Align Technology. Today, we have Michelle Shimon as our speaker to talk about best practices for speaking with teens and parents through the Invisalign process, from the initial consult through treatment. The goal of this webinar is to help you become an integral part of building a successful Invisalign teen practice. I'd like to now introduce Michelle Shimon, a consultant to many successful practices in the orthodontic industry, with years of experience as a treatment coordinator herself. I'll now turn it over to Michelle.
Hi, Kathy. It's great to be here. Thank you. As Kathy said, my name is Michelle Shimon, and I am the owner of Shimon Consulting, where I have the privilege of traveling all across the country on a weekly basis, working with practices, providing the most efficient processes and best patient experiences. I have been in the field of orthodontics for nearly 27 years now, and I've worked in every position within the practice, with the last decade focusing on treatment coordinating, sales, and practice management, where I've taken a practice to elite status while the doctor only saw patients 2.5 days a week. I've been a part of and watched how Invisalign has completely transformed practices with a treatment modality that is efficient, profitable, and most importantly, provides an amazing patient experience. In a society when time is of the essence, we can be confident in what we have available to our patients when creating ideal smiles. In the past, Invisalign has been more of an exciting, cool option, and it's quickly become the standard of care our patients not only desire, but expect. I'm really excited to discuss with you today how you too can grow your practice and be successful in creating that exceptional patient experience with Invisalign treatment. We will start by discussing the importance of laying a solid foundation to ensure the success of your new patient exam process. When done purposefully from the beginning of our first point of contact with the patient, we eliminate many of the obstacles and barriers later on. I'll discuss these solid steps and processes throughout this entire webinar. After we've confidently laid the foundation, we'll then proceed through the sales techniques needed to effectively influence your patients to not only choose your practice, but to choose your recommended treatment modality. We will also address best practices in facing barriers to patients starting treatment and how to create vested patients that become your walking, talking referrals. But before we jump in, I wanted to highlight why we're all here today and talk about why Invisalign treatment can really help grow your practice, treat patients effectively, and create that positive patient experience. Compared to standard wires and brackets, Invisalign treatment can help your practice's bottom line, from more patient referrals to lowering practice costs through efficiencies within your practice and your schedule. With Invisalign, patients refer throughout their treatment and not just at the end when they get their braces off and have that beautiful smile. So we generally see an increase in patient referrals. We also know that through shorter treatment times, less time needed for appointments, and fewer emergency visits, we see an increase in practice efficiency and profitability with Invisalign treatment. Invisalign is a proven technology that has helped to treat over 4 million patients globally. And with all of the technological advancements, you're able to treat all types of cases, including complex malocclusions such as class 2, open bite, bicuspid extraction, and deep bite cases. I continue to see amazing results from providers all over the country in each of these examples. And since 2011, over 900,000 patients with complex malocclusions have been treated. Invisalign clear aligners may also provide up to 50% shorter treatment time with weekly aligner changes, and studies have shown that teens feel Invisalign aligners are less painful than metal braces. And we all know when teens are happy, moms are happy too. With fewer office visits in general, and less time spent in the chair, we are actually returning time back to families. Our goal should always be to provide an amazing experience for our patients. How can we serve this patient at all times, utilizing every opportunity to act as educators to our patients and provide them that higher level quality of service? The definition of patient-centered care per the Institute of Medicine is providing care that is respectful of and responsive to individual patient preferences, needs, and values. We are the experts. Patients are coming to us for education and recommendation. We should have the buy-in and the belief from every team member that we are the best practice, providing the best service and care to our patients. It is not high-pressure sales when there is passion involved and we believe in what we provide our patients. The goal of every practice should be to inspire their team members to understand this process and exude this message to every patient. In order to provide this patient-centered care and to grow your practices, you need to start from within, setting the expectations of what the culture of your team will be. This culture will define how you talk to moms and teens and how you train and grow your team. In order to foster this patient-centered culture, there are certain key strategies that need to be in place to lay the foundation. You need to set goals together and spell out clear expectations. You need to provide the tools and the training to your team members, and you need to put into place a high level of accountability. Invite your team on board, and you'll provide a very educational, informative, enjoyable, effective ride to your patients, that patient-centered experience. An example of these clear expectations and high level of accountability is the scripts and messaging you have in place. Use of purposeful scripts within your practice can truly set you apart from your competition. We hear about scripts whenever we attend a training lecture or CE event. There is a reason these are discussed as often as they are. It's nearly impossible when interacting with the industry of hospitality for a script to not be used. Getting on an airplane, in a hotel, renting a car. These are service-oriented industries, and there is purpose behind the training of those employees and the business's expected scripts. We are also in a service-oriented industry with patient-centered care as the core of what we should be providing. There are basic scripts that should be expected from every team member, such as new patient phone call, any of your practice programs you offer, like Vivera or a family care program, and asking for referrals. At the very least, I would implement these as soon as possible. Let's start with the very important new patient phone call. We want to use this first point of contact with the patient, the new patient phone call, to educate the patient as well as build excitement and enthusiasm around our practice and our treatment options available. We do not want to wait for the exam to start this process, and the new patient phone call is a perfect opportunity for this. In addition, this phone call provides us valuable information about this patient. And when this information is well documented, the treatment coordinator or team member that will facilitate the new patient exam will have a better ability to understand this patient's value point. Was it difficult to schedule a patient due to work schedules or activities of the family? Did the dentist refer this patient? Was this a concern of the patient's, or was this a concern of the dentist? And what is this patient looking for? Let me walk you through the key elements of a new patient phone call. First, the welcome. Excellent. I would love to schedule an appointment for you to meet Dr. Orthodontist. He's an excellent orthodontist, and I know you're really going to enjoy him. Is it okay if I take down some preliminary information to enter into the computer, and then I can schedule that appointment for you? We want to prepare the patient that this call will take a few minutes and ask if that is okay. Next, we will proceed in preparing the patient for what the appointment will consist of. Show the patient that we value the importance of their time and set the patient up for a same-day start. Sally, our treatment coordinator, will be taking complimentary digital x-rays, scans, and photos, and Dr. Orthodontist will do an extensive clinical evaluation. We will also be able to show you a simulation of your treatment using the Invisalign Outcome Simulator. Our goal today is to provide you with as much information up front as possible, and if Dr. Orthodontist recommends any treatment for Tyler at this time, we will do our best to combine as many appointments for him as possible so you miss as little work and school as possible. When completing our new patient phone call, we want to take the opportunity to promote the treatment modalities we specialize in, creating that excitement and that enthusiasm, as well as directing activity back to our website. As a premier, elite, top 1% Invisalign provider, we are proud of the expertise in our office and the treatment options we specialize in. You can visit our website at www.orthodontist.com to gain valuable information about our outcome simulator and the different treatment options available, including Invisalign and Invisalign Teen. As we prepare to see the patient for the first time, it's imperative that we set up the treatment coordinator or team member to be as successful as possible when the patient arrives for their new patient consultation. Any information provided during the new patient phone call is very important to notate so that it can be utilized during the new patient exam. For instance, was it challenging to schedule the new patient exam due to mom's or teen's schedule? If so, we would use this information to aid us in building value behind a very time-efficient treatment. In addition, we'd have the ability to show the patient that we truly value their time. Do you see where this information is important in setting the treatment coordinator up to have greater influential success during the new patient exam? There are many more examples of how this information is important ahead of time as well. Please make sure all information gleaned from the new patient phone call is notated clearly for the treatment coordinator or team member to access prior to the new patient exam. Let's talk about the morning huddle and why it's important and pertinent to the team regarding new patient exams. It should not just be the doctor and the treatment coordinator. There is valuable information you should deliver to your entire team regarding the new patients for that day. We want a clear communication from our clinic to our scheduling desk to our treatment coordinator. We want to understand and know if we have dental clearance to start this patient today. Do they have any pending dental treatment? We want to discuss where we will place emergency appointments and where to avoid placing emergency appointments per our expected same-day starts or iTero scans. In addition, understand where we have the availability to place emergency appointments when needed throughout the day. We need to also have dialogue and prepare the clinic for potential same-day starts or scans per the information we have ahead of time regarding our new patients. The expectation should be that we are calling the dentist ahead of time for this clearance so that we truly know if I have the ability to start this patient today. With this information, we have a greater ability to influence the success of the actual exam appointment. It's important that your treatment coordinator or team member managing the flow of the patient throughout the exam process isn't just acting as an assistant to the appointment. We truly want to drive this exam process purposefully and effectively with a strategic game plan. The steps for the consultation should include gathering information about this patient, getting to know who they are, and specifically what this patient's value point is. We want to educate our patients about Invisalign treatment, capitalizing on the opportunity to potentially generate additional new patient exams from a parent or sibling with Invisalign, even if this patient might not be ready at this time. While briefing the doctor prior to his or her exam findings, we want to make sure to address what the patient's wants are and keep the doctor on point. As we move into the clinical findings, we want to ensure that the doctor is going to provide a treatment recommendation. We then will move into the financial investment presentation and presumptive sales, getting the patient scheduled in our system. The new patient exam is a crucial moment at which to influence your patient. One of the most important elements I recommend is to have one person guide the patient and parent's movements during this appointment. That employee continuity provides us a better understanding of this patient specifically. This position can be a treatment coordinator, but it doesn't have to be if you do not have this position within your practice. However, this person should be trained in sales with the ability and comfort level to educate your patients, creating greater value around your treatment and technological advances such as your iTero scan and outcome simulator that you have available to you. In addition, we see a greater level of success in our exam process when we can truly adapt our case presentations to the needs and value points of each patient. We do this by collecting information about the patient and creating a specific sales strategy around their value points. We want our treatment to not only fit into our patient's lifestyle, but to enhance our patient's lifestyle. And a great question to start with is to ask the patient, if there was one thing you could change about your smile, what would it be? This answer helps us to understand what the patient's wants and needs truly are. Is it aesthetics, form, function? Ask the patient what activities they're interested in and what they do for fun, gaining a clear understanding of what their schedule needs are. When we address the patient's specific needs and value points up front, showing patients and families what's in it for them, we minimize the objections to the recommended treatment. Psychological sales is the process of how to present the information the patient needs the way they need it delivered for greater results with every patient. This is the ability to adapt your case presentations. Is this patient all about the experience they'll have in your practice? Or do they need the facts and the science behind doctors' treatment recommendations? Does this patient want to feel led through the process, or do they want to feel a sense of control over their treatment? When we understand this process, we have a greater ability to influence our patients to not only choose our practice, but to choose our recommended treatment modalities, such as Invisalign. Start to educate the patient at the beginning of the exam about the different treatment modalities available. We can be very confident in doing this because we know the doctor will recommend the best treatment for this patient to achieve the greatest results in the shortest amount of time. Don't shy away from talking about Invisalign, waiting until after the exam findings. When we discuss and educate at this point in the exam, we generate opportunities for additional new patient exams with other family members or friends. We can also trust in the benefits of Invisalign treatment and its efficacy with having treated over 4 million patients worldwide, and with weekly aligner changes offering up to 50% shorter treatment time that's less painful and more convenient than braces for our patients. This is also the time to emphasize patient compliance as a success factor for all treatment modalities. When we provide this education to our patients, we are preparing them to be successful with their specific treatment. The technology we have available is amazing, and to have the ability to show a patient what their smile is projected to look like after treatment is a fantastic tool to tap into. A best practice would be for the treatment coordinator to view the simulated treatment on their computer with the patient in their office after the patient is scanned chairside. The Invisalign Outcome Simulator can be viewed on any office computer, which is logged into the My Align Tech portal and can be immediately shared with the patient and parent. If you've ever been to a plastic surgeon, they actually do this in their office. I have a friend who needed sinus surgery, and during her consultation, they also offered an adjunct rhinoplasty. They took photos, popped them into a software simulator, and by the end of the visit, they had generated her new nose. My friend was completely wowed and even emailed the images to her friends and family with complete excitement and enthusiasm about her upcoming procedures. What an amazing tool to have and to use in your practice. As we move into wrapping up our exam appointment with the patient, we need to ensure that we've provided influential education to the patient in addition to the doctor's treatment recommendations. With the information we've just presented to the patient, we have used every opportunity to minimize patient objection. However, I want to provide you with the additional tools to face the most common patient-parent objections with confidence. Despite addressing patient and parents' needs, you may get objections from parents about Invisalign treatment for their teens. Parents will bring up their perception of Invisalign treatment and how it may work for their teen, as well as their perception of price point. I'll walk through some strategies to address these objections, as well as programs and data provided by the makers of Invisalign to help support you in this phase. Don't forget to reiterate to the parents what's in it for them with less appointments, less emergency visits, which equates to more time back in the parent's schedule. Ultimately, educating the patient and parent on clinical findings and the importance of treatment is key to getting the buy-in. Commonly, the number one concern from parents is that their teen won't wear their Invisalign aligners. As stated earlier, there is a high level of compliance needed with orthodontics. We want to educate our patients on the importance of this compliance in any treatment modality, and clinical data has shown that teens wear their aligners on average of 21 hours a day. Teens are, in fact, some of our most compliant patients. The teens compete and performs, they excel at many other activities, and we will help him succeed with his Invisalign treatment as well. There are ideas and ways for us to aid in our teen's success with Invisalign. We can provide mom with storage ideas for maximum organization with teens and their aligners. We can have our teens sign compliance forms, run contests throughout the practice, or send report cards to parents and dentists. This is a great way to celebrate our teens' success and inspire them to maintain that success. We can provide parents with ideas such as setting alarms on their phones or using fun electronics as a motivator. I know when I see my sons playing with their electronics, I always check to make sure they are wearing their aligners. And if they aren't, those electronics are taken away. And actually, when I share that story with patients, parents get really excited about this form of motivation as well. A solid tool for overcoming the compliance objection is the teen guarantee. where Align helps to mitigate the cost to switching to braces if the patient is non-compliant. We can offer to put the patient in braces at no charge if compliance becomes an issue. If parents are not satisfied during the first 6 months of their teen's treatment, Align Technology will provide a $300 credit on your next case. Even with this excellent program available, in 2016, less than 1% of patients ended up redeeming this. Another objection we hear is that parents are concerned about teens losing or breaking aligners. So we have up to 6 replacement aligners available for teens in Invisalign teen treatment, as well as compliance indicators that fade from dark blue to clear over the recommended wear. So parents can be tremendously confident in their decision to choose Invisalign treatment for their teen. I recommend having a nice casebook on hand, demonstrating before and after photos, as well as continuing to build confidence in your doctor's abilities and how Invisalign treatment can provide excellent results in creating ideal smiles. Reminding mom that Invisalign clear aligners have been used on over 4 million patients. Keep in mind, when we are aware of what our patients want and we desire to provide an excellent patient experience, we need to eliminate pricing barriers for our patients and not introduce those financial barriers that hinder a patient choosing Invisalign treatment. I recommend having the same price points and down payments as you would for brackets and wires of the same level of complexity. This way, our patients can truly choose the treatment modality they prefer. We don't want finances to hinder a patient having an ideal smile. Therefore, it's best if we create financing options to fit into every budget, whether that is your internal financing options or a third-party financing. We should show flexibility and work with the patient's needs. When discussing down payments and monthly payments, have it be interactive with the patient so that we can creatively address the patient's needs. Is it the size of the down payment? Is it the monthly payments? It's important to understand this clearly and get the patient vested today. After you've demonstrated and shown the smile simulator and summarized the doctor's treatment recommendations, you should move directly into next steps, clearly stating what to perform today and what to schedule out when. Our ultimate goal is to get patients committed to their treatment the same day as their exam. The use of technology aids us in this success, especially when one parent may not be present for the exam. You can email the smile simulation. You can dial into Skype or just answer any questions over the phone. However, if the patient cannot start or commit to their treatment today, it's imperative you have a solid follow-up process in place to remain patient-centered from start to finish. Whether your patient has started today or is scheduled to start in the future, we want to ensure they become our walking, talking referrals. A few simple steps set this in motion. A solid referral system is a program you have in place. You are utilizing your entire team to train your patients to be your walking, talking billboards. You should have clear expectations from your team members with scripts in place to role play and practice asking for referrals from your patients. This process should be as comfortable as welcoming a patient into your office. Tyler, we love a practice full of patients just like you. Would you mind telling all your family and friends about us? In addition, make sure that you and your team are informing your patients of your social media and online presence, providing a handout with the names and how to find you or how to write a review for you. This makes it very simple and easy for patients, and patients are more likely to actually follow through with a referral or a review when they've been asked for one. We have discussed a significant amount of information this morning, and I wanted to also let you know of the additional resources available to you on the Education tab of the Invisalign Doctor site. You'll find a page with resources for treatment coordinators with past presentations on topics of interest to treatment coordinators. Today's webinar will also be archived there. There was a lot of Invisalign clinical treatment that I didn't cover today. And for more information on clinical topics, you can visit the Education tab of the Invisalign Doctor site, where there are detailed tips and videos for each step of the treatment process. In summary, I'd like to challenge you to utilize each of your points of contact with the patient to make a lasting impact in creating the exceptional experience your patients desire, capitalizing on the progressive technology you have available in your Invisalign Outcome Simulator. Tap into each of your team members as educators and influencers, and watch your practice not only grow, but thrive. I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning, and please be sure to visit the URL above to complete a survey and collect your 1 hour of Align CE credit. Thank you.
At this time, I will open the floor for Q&A. If you haven't already, please submit your text questions in the Q&A pane and we'll respond to those as time permits. So our first question, does the doctor have to see the patient first to present Invisalign as an option, or do you present Invisalign as an option to everyone?
Excellent question. Thank you. I actually utilize the first 20 to 25 minutes beginning of the consult where the treatment coordinator or the team member is getting to know the family as an opportunity to really educate and promote the treatment modalities that we specialize in, including Invisalign treatment. So at that time, I'm really educating the families on really the pros and cons of all of the treatment modalities within our practice. And I'm very confident in being able to do that because, as I stated during the webinar, I know that doctors are going to come in and recommend the best treatment for this patient. The reason I choose in the beginning to promote and educate on Invisalign treatment for our patients is because I can use that as an opportunity to generate an additional new patient exam, maybe from mom, maybe from a spouse or a friend or another family member. This family is going to know that we specialize in that treatment modality. And then again, when doctor comes in, I'm confident that doctor is going to recommend the best treatment for this patient, and we will proceed forward in facilitating that.
How much time do you spend with the patient and parents before the doctor comes in?
So generally, we like to recommend spending about 20 to 25 minutes, and that is a time when we take intraoral photographs and facial photographs, our digital pictures. And I also recommend taking x-rays when you have the opportunity as well. This allows the doctor to do a very comprehensive exam, and we can also use those tools with our technology to build value behind the patient's orthodontic problem and behind what doctor's going to recommend with the specific treatment. So when I can take that time as 20 minutes or 23 minutes to really, educate the families on what we look for in an ideal occlusion and build the value for what doctor is going to say when doctor comes into that consultation, it allows us to be very successful at our exam process. And it shows the family that we're vested in the time that we're going to put into a very thorough consultation for them. In addition, I use that as an opportunity to find out how I can customize and tailor this consultation to this family. I can find out what their value points are, just like we talked about earlier in the webinar. And it gives me the right amount of time to be able to do that. So I generally recommend between 20 and 25 minutes time spent before the doctor comes in for the clinical findings on that consultation process.
Great. Do you ever mention mid-course corrections to the patient or parent?
You know, I don't really like using the phrase mid-course correction. I prefer using the phrase additional aligners, where we're achieving a fine-tuned detailing during our treatment process. I really like to promote our digital technology, which allows us to know and see the best time throughout their treatment to generate new aligners for this fine-tuning detailing phase, achieving the precise results that we want for their ideal smile. So that's how I like to prefer to promote what we have at our fingertips and what our technology allows us to really create that fine-tuning detailing process for our patients. So I just discuss it and educate on it being our additional aligners, and this is what we utilize to really achieve those precise results.
Sometimes a parent has some preconceived notions that their teen will not comply with Invisalign treatment. How can I confidently overcome this when the parent is adamant that compliance is a deal breaker for their teen?
As we stated in the webinar earlier, what I really like to do from the very beginning is to show families that there's a high level of compliance needed with any treatment modality. And our goal is to find the modality that is going to not only fit into but enhance our patients' lifestyles. And so in the very beginning, when I have provided that education on that high level of compliance needed, our families understand that whether it's brackets and wires or aligners, our patients are going to have to be very compliant. And so now it's my job to build the value and help the families understand what's in it for them, with less time in the office, no emergency appointments, a treatment modality that actually builds the confidence for patients throughout their treatment, that's very comfortable and aesthetic for the patient. And to also show the families that we're a support system for them. So either treatment modality, we're going to come alongside them to ensure that their teenager is going to be successful, and we're going to create those ideal results that we aim for with our patients.
Great. How do offices successfully ask for referrals? I see practices with lots of favorable Yelp reviews, and I'm wondering how our office can get there.
You know, that's a great question. Thanks so much for asking that. Really, I'm such a proponent of the synergy throughout our entire team. We may have a key employee at the front desk or a treatment coordinator that's very enthusiastic and comfortable in asking for reviews from our patients, but really where we see that tremendous level of success is when we set those clear expectations of each of our team members. So I spend a lot of time role-playing with clinicians and role-playing with the entire front desk team. How can this process be as comfortable as welcoming a patient into our practice for their appointment that day? You know, hi, Michelle, we're so happy to see you. Come on back. We've been waiting for you. And then after the appointment, when they can say, you know, Michelle, how did your appointment go? And our patient says, oh, it's great. I always love coming in to see you guys. Right there is a perfect opportunity for us to be able to thank them for that, let them know that we truly value their opinion, and we would love it if they would be able to write a review or if they can tell all their family and friends about us. As I mentioned in the webinar, it's also very convenient and easy for our patients if we can create a little handout. You know, take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and cut it in fourths. But just be able to use that to have some simple instructions on what online sites we have available to our patients to write a review for us. And ask our patients, would you mind taking a few minutes to just let others know what your experience is like within our practice? And so the practices that are very successful at achieving that higher level of referrals and online reviews are the practices that are really tapping into each team member, and they understand the value of the technicians in the clinic also doing this. So that's what we recommend and implement when we go into practices.
Our next question, we often discuss the need to change our template to accommodate our growing Invisalign practice. Oh, let me rephrase that. Do we need to discuss the need to change our template to accommodate our growing Invisalign practice?
Okay, I think I understand what the question is, and I'm actually very glad that that question is asked, because my answer to that is absolutely. I definitely recommend, as you start to implement and incorporate more Invisalign into your practice, it's going to provide you many opportunities to open up your schedule and to create just a much easier and more seamless process throughout your day. So to truly capitalize on what doing more Invisalign does within your practice, definitely recommend doing time studies and understanding what your reality is with your appointments, because it's different within each practice. So once we know what your reality is, we will put together schedule configurations with your appointment types and appointment codes and truly be able to utilize that additional time that you will be putting back into your schedule. We're taking 30 and 40-minute wire adjustment appointments, and we're taking those and translating those to 10 and 15-minute aligner delivery appointments. Even something as simple as a 90-minute bonding appointment. Please don't take your initial aligner delivery appointment and just put it into that start appointment, because we don't need that much time. And I want to be able to understand your reality and open up your schedule template so you can fully capitalize on what doing more Invisalign can provide your practice. So yes, my question to that is absolutely, please assess your schedule template and make the adjustments so that you can see the true benefit.
Great. That's all the questions that we have. Thank you so much for your presentation, Michelle. Thank you so much for attending today's event brought to you by Align Technology. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.